Hello everyone. Welcome to the new session of Morphology of Flowering Plants NCERT exercise. So in today's session, we are going to solve the questions from the NCERT exercise. So in that ways, let us start this session and see the first question over here. So the first question is, how is pinnately compound leaf different from the palmately compound? So there are the compound leaf, okay? The compound leaf. First of all, let us understand what is compound leaf. So in the compound leaf, this is the simple leaf, okay, one leaf that is attached to the stem here at the nodal region. This is the simple leaf. And in the nodal, this compound leaf, what happened? This gives you the different leaflets, and the leaflets are arranged like this, okay? This is the compound leaf, and this is the rachis. The midrib is called as rachis, and these are the leaflets. These are the leaflets. Okay, so this is the compound leaf. And this is the simple. So let us see what is the difference between then pinnately compound leaf and the palmately compound leaf. Okay, so here comes the table. The pinnately compound leaf, and again the palmately compound leaf. So many numbers of the leaflets are present on a common axis. In pinnately compound leaf, many numbers of leaflets are present on the common axis. So this is the common axis, and it is having the number of leaflets. As we have drawn earlier also. So here you can see the leaflets that is arranged on the axis, right? The leaflets are arranged on the axis. Now, several leaflets are attached to a common point. So this is, and at this particular point, you can see the leaves are attached at a common point. Okay, so this is showing a palm like. These are the fingers, okay, and they are all attached at one particular point. So in that ways, you see here in the palmately compound leaf, these are the leaflets that are joined at one particular point, right? So this is showing the palmately compound, and the leaflets are attached to a common axis that is called as rachis. Here, this particular axis is called as rachis. This is called as rachis, and the leaflets are attached to a common point on the leaf stalk. So this is the leaf stalk. This is not a rachis, this is leaf stalk. So these are the some of the points that you must remember. Now the leaflet bearing axis is the continuation of the petiole. So this is the petiole region, and this is the continuation of it. Okay, this axis is the continuation of the petiole, and the leaflets bearing axis is very short. This stalk is not so big, it is quite small. So this pinnately compound leaf you see in the case of neem leaves, whereas in palmately compound leaf you see in the cotton. Okay, so this is the difference between the pinnately compound leaf and the palmately compound. Okay, so let us see our next question. Explain with suitable example different types of phyllotaxy. So what is the different types of phyllotaxy? Okay, the pattern. Let us first understand what is phyllotaxy. The pattern of leaf arrangement on the stem or branch is called phyllotaxy. How the leaf are arranged on the axis, okay, that is called as phyllotaxy. So there are different arrangement of the leaves on the axis. So for example, the China rose, mustard and sunflower plants a single leaf arises at each node alternately. So here you can see, if this is a mustard, then in this, these are the nodal region which I'm marking. Then this is the mustard leaf. So if you have seen the figure, the mustard leaf is somewhat like this only. Okay. So alternatively, you can see at each nodal region there is one leaf arising and they are arranged alternately. Okay. So phyllotaxy is of three different types. Okay, three different types, namely alternate arrangement, the emergence of a single leaf at each node in an alternate manner. So here you can see this is showing the alternate arrangement. Alternate arrangement, right? So this the example in which we can see the alternate type of arrangement of leaf is the hibiscus, China rose. Commonly it is called as China rose. And also in the case of mustard. Now, whorl arrangement. Whorl is formed when the two or more leaves emerges at a node. So suppose here you can see this, these are the nodal region, and from here the leaves are coming out. One leaf is this, one leaf is this. Okay, many leaves are emerging out from the same point, same nodal region, and they are making a whorl-like structure. A whorl-like structure. So this is showing the whorl arrangement. Whorl arrangement. And the best example is the Alstonia. In the case of Alstonia, we see the whorl arrangement, right? Next is the opposite arrangement. So opposite arrangement, that is the emergence of a pair of leaves at each node. So here you can see this is the nodal region. These are the nodal region, and at each node you can see the leaves are emerging out like this. The leaves are emerging out. At one nodal region, two leaves are emerging, and that is opposite to each other, right? That is opposite to each other. So that is we see in the case of guava. That we see in the case of guava. So that is the opposite arrangement. So there are three different types of arrangement you have to remember: the alternate, whorl arrangement, and opposite arrangement. So if you remember the example, hibiscus, mustard, okay, whorl arrangement, Alstonia, and in opposite, that is the guava. Best example, guava. This you have to remember. And how the leaves are arranged on the axis, that is called as phyllotaxy, right? So after the phyllotaxy, you define it and then you tell the types of it, draw the diagram. This you have to do in this particular question. Okay, so let us move to our new question. Define the following terms. Okay, so these are the terms that is very, very important in the morphology of the flowering plants, right? So the first is the estivation. Second, that is the placentation. C, actinomorphic. D, zygomorphic. E, superior ovary. F, perigynous flower. And G, epigynous flower. So let us see one by one what is the definition of this. First is the estivation. So sepals or petals arranged in a floral bud concerning other members of the same whorl, different types of estivation. So this is the definition of estivation. Okay. Now sepals, they are not single, they are having some members. Okay. So that is why sepals, and that is called as calyx together. Sepals. Okay, group of sepals, that is called as calyx. So how they are arranged on the buds, their arrangement, how they are arranged on the buds, that is called as estivation. So whether sepals and petals, we will see. So there are different types of estivation. Okay, different types of estivation. The first one is the twisted. If one margin of the appendage overlaps the adjacent one, it is twisted, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. The best example is the cotton. It means it is like this. The margin of one appendage is overlapping with the next one. Okay, and this is overlapping with the next one, and this is overlapping with the next one, like this, you see. So this type of estivation is called as twisted estivation, and the example is cotton. Next is the valvate estivation. In a wall, when petals or sepals just touch each other at the margin without overlapping. So there is no overlapping, as you can see in this one. There is no overlapping. Their margin are touching each other, but they are not overlapping to the one appendage is not overlapping with the adjacent one, right? So this we can see in the case of calotropis. This we see in the case of calotropis. Valvate estivation. Next is the imbricate estivation. It is imbricate when the petals or sepals overlap with each other but not in any definite direction, as observed in the Gulmohar. So imbricate in what happened? There is overlap each other but not in a definite direction. So here you can see the one is overlapping the adjacent one and the adjacent one overlapping the next adjacent one. So there is a pattern of this overlapping in the case of twisted estivation. But what about the imbricate? In the imbricate, there is no definite fashion of overlapping, right? The sepals are overlapping each other, but they are not in any definite direction or in any particular fashion. So this is called as imbricate estivation. And the best example for this imbricate estivation is the Gulmohar flower. Gulmohar flower. Okay. Okay. In that context, let us see the next one. Waxillary. Very, very important and very different even. Right. The largest petal overlap the two lateral petals. So this is the standard one. This is the standard. It is overlapping the two adjacent or the both the side. These are called as wings, and the other are joined together and forming the keel like structure. This is called keel. Okay, so this is very, very different type of estivation. The largest petal overlap the two lateral, which in turn overlap the two smallest interior petals. These are the two smallest interior petals, and this is not like this. It is overlapping. It is like this wing. This is wing. This is called as wing. This is called as standard. And this is called as keel. Okay. So this keel is get overlapped by the wings on both the sides. Right. So this is the waxillary estivation, and such type of estivation we see in the case of bean flower, pea flower, right? So here you can see this is the valvate estivation. Okay, this is the imbricate estivation, no any pattern. Imbricate, this is waxillary. Okay, This is a marginal, and this is the twisted one. Twisted. Okay. So there are there's 4 different types of estimation: marginal, twisted, imbricate, and this is vacillate. Okay. Next is the placentation. What do you mean by the placentation? So arrangement of the ovule within the ovary, they are of the following types. This is the definition of the this placentation. How the ovules are arranged in the ovary, that is called as placentation, right? So here you can see actually the seeds are earlier, before fertilization they are called as ovules. So how these ovules are arranged in the ovary, that is the placentation. So this you see in the case of marginal placentation, right? So there are different types of placentation. One by one we will see. So the first thing is the arrangement of the ovules in the ovary. Okay. So in that, the first one is the marginal placentation. So the placenta forms a ridge through the ventral suture of the ovary. So you can see this is the margin, and you can see these seeds are arranged, attached to it. Okay, so the margin of this ovule is working as a placenta, right? So ovules are born on the ridge to form the 2 rows, and best example is the P. Axial placentation. Placenta is axial. Okay, so if you see this lamen, how it looks like when you cut the lamen, how it look like is like this, right? And the seeds are arranged like this, right? So the placenta is axial. So this particular point, the midpoint, is the that is showing the axis of the this ovary. The placenta is axial and the ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary. So this is one locule, this is second locule, and this is the third locule, right? And in these locule, what you see, this ovules, or you can say after the fertilization, the seeds are arranged in the central axis, and each locule is having this ovules. Each locule is having the different ovules. And the best example for this axial type of placentation is the lemon citrus. Okay. Next is the parietal placentation. The ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary. So here you can see in the figure, this is the wall of the ovary. This is the outer wall, right? This is the outer wall, and this is the inner wall. This is the inner wall. And to the inner wall, what you see, the ovules are attached in a particular fashion. Okay, ovules are attached like this. Ovules are attached like this. So the inner wall of the ovary on the periphery, it is a single chambered. So the ovary is single chambered. This is single chambered. It is not divided into any locule like things, right? So single chambered, but due to the formation of false septum, it become 2 chambered sometime. And the best example is the mustard. So mustard is showing the parietal placentation. Parietal placentation. Next is the basal placentation. The placenta develops at the base of the ovary. So here you can see this is the wall of the ovary. This is the wall of the ovary, and this is the base of the ovary, and this is the placenta is going to join it at the base. So the placenta develops at the base of the ovary with a single ovule attached to it. And this is example we see in the case of marigold plant. Last is the free central. Ovules are born on the central axis. So if you cut any primrose plant, you can see the central axis. And to this central axis, you can see, okay, many ovules are attached to it. But what is the difference then between this citrus one, axial placentation? There is no locule. There is a single locule, and there you have seen it is divided into many locules. Okay, so the ovary are born on the central axis and septa are absent, and there the septa are present. This is the difference. And the best example is the primrose plant. Okay, next, C, which can be divided into two halves by any vertical plane known as actinomorphic flower. So this is the definition of the actinomorphic flower. Actinomorphic flower. So what you see in the actinomorphic flower, suppose the flower is like this. Okay, you can divide the flower like this in two equal halves. You can divide the flower into two equal halves in this way. You can divide the flower into two equal halves in this way. You can divide the flower into two equal halves in this way. So there are number of planes. There are number of planes, and that plane passes through the center of the flower. This is very, very important. Okay, this axis that dividing the flower into two equal halves must pass through the center of the flower. So that is showing the actinomorphic flower. This type of arrangement, when you see, it is called as actinomorphic. And actinomorphic symbol, when you write it in a floral formula, then you show it in this. This shows the flower is actinomorphic. And the example is the chili. Now, what is the zygomorphic flower? Zygomorphic. A flower with bilateral symmetry that can be divided into two halves only in one plane. Okay, there is just one single plane that can divide the flower into two equal halves. Right? Two equal halves, and that is just one single plane is present to divide the flower into two equal halves. And that plane also passes through the center of the flower. In the actinomorphic also, in the zygomorphic also. That is very, very important. Right? So here in the case of zygomorphic, the flower can be divided into two equal halves. The flower can be divided into two equal halves through one this axis. And that is known as zygomorphic flower. For example, gulmohar. Okay. Next is the hypogynous flower. What do you understand by the hypogynous flower? In a hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position while the other parts remain below it. So if you see the gynoecium that is attached to the thalamus region, this is the gynoecium and it is attached to this. Okay, so here what you see, this is the petal region, this is the sepal region, and this is the gynoecium. So they all are coming just below the position of the ovary. Okay, In a hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position. So this gynoecium is at the highest position, while other parts remain below it. Other parts means the endoecium is attached below to it. The petals are attached below to it. The sepals are attached below to it. Okay, so the ovary in such a flower is known as superior, just because how they are arranged on the thalamus. Okay, superior ovary, and this is we see in the case of brinjal. Okay, brinjal is showing the hypogynous type of flower. Next is the perigynous flower. What do you understand by the term perigynous flower? So it is one in which the gynoecium is situated in the center. The gynoecium is situated in the center. Again, you can see like this. It is situated in the center, and the other parts of the flowers are located on the rim of the thing. So the rim is like this, and you can see the other parts are attached like this. Right? So the ovary, here you can see the ovary is half below to this level, the level at which the other floral parts are attached to the thalamus. Okay, you can see this petal is attached little above, the endoecium is attached little above, the sepals is attached also little above to this ovary, which is attached quite below it. So this is showing the condition in which the ovary is half inferior. It is half inferior, and this we see in the case of rose. So that is the perigynous flower. The rose is showing the perigynous flower. Next is the epipetalous stamen. Instead of directly being inserted over the thalamus, it has a stamen borne over a petals or attached to it. So sometimes what you see, this, suppose this is the petal, it is attached to the this petals. Instead of getting attached to the thalamus, this is the thalamus, this is the petal, this is the stamen. So here you can see the stamen or the gynoecium, it is attached this to the petals, not to the thalamus directly, right? So this type of arrangement, this type of attachment is called, given a term to the stamen, that is called as epipetalous stamen. Such type of stamens are called as epipetalous stamen. Okay, so instead of directly being attached, inserted over the thalamus, it has a stamen which is borne over petal. It is not borne, it is attached to this petals, and the best example is the brinjal. Okay, so our next question is differentiate between racemose and cymose type of inflorescence. So these are the two different types of inflorescence that we have discussed in our theory class. So we have to differentiate these two, and there is one more differentiation, that is the fibrous root and adventitious. Okay, so let us see the answer of this. Okay, it is again in the tabular form. It is best to give a difference in the tabular form, right? So racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. The inflorescence in which young flowers are present at the tip and the older flowers are arranged at the base. So here it is the racemose. These are the flowers, okay, older flowers. They are arranged at the base. They are arranged at the base. Okay, and these are the older flowers. Older flowers. And the new flowers is there. but it is continuously growing. This axis is not terminating with a flower. It is continuously growing like this. It will give like this. Okay. So and what happened in the case of cymose inflorescence? The inflorescence in which old flowers are present at the tip and young are arranged at the base. So here you can see the flowers. One, it is there. It terminated here and it gave rise a new flower like this. A new flower. So here you can see the new flower are at the base. This is the new flower. And this is the older one. Older flower. Right? So new flower is at the base and older flower is at the tip position. Okay? At the tip. So this is the totally different arrangement in the racemose and in the cymose you can see. The main axis continues to grow and produce flowers laterally. So here you can see it is continuously growing and it is giving like flowers like this. Okay, so this is the racemose type of inflorescence. This is the racemose type of inflorescence, where here you can see in the case of cymose, okay, it is terminated here. Now the lateral flowers can give rise to the new flowers like this. Okay, so the main axis has a limited growth which terminates into a flower, but here it is not terminating into flower, it is continuously growing. So this is the difference between the racemose and cymose type of inflorescence. Okay, now let us see the difference between the fibrous root and adventitious root. These are the two different types of roots. So let us see the difference in that. So first one is the fibrous root and this is the adventitious root. The primary root is short-lived and it is replaced by the large numbers of root in the monocotyledons. The primary root, fibrous root. So at the base, the primary root, it has a short-lived and it has been replaced. Now many roots are coming from the base of it. Many at the same point. Okay, so this is the fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. And the best example is the wheat. Now, in the case of adventitious, the root arises from the parts of the plants other than the radicle. So this is the stem region, suppose nodal, internodal. Now what you see, some roots are coming out from the base of the stem. Okay, this is just to get cling to any substratum or to get an attachment, right? So this is the adventitious. And the best example is the banyan tree. In the banyan tree, you can see such type of roots, adventitious type of roots. Okay. Draw the label. Next question is draw the label diagram of the following gram seed and vertical section of the maize seed. So here you can see the gram seed, the seed. This is the gram seed. Okay. And the gram seed is having the seed coat, this brown color coat that is called as a seed coat. And at one particular point, you can see this is scar-like structure. So at the base of the scar, there is a hilum. Okay. And this particular part is called as micropyle. Now, if you remove the cover of the seed, that is the seed coat. If you remove the seed coat, what you see? Two cotyledons, one in this side, one in this side, and there is a embryonal axis. This is called as embryonal axis. The embryonal axis, what you see? Limule region. This is the limule. And here what you see? At the downward, that is the radicle. Limule and radicle. You can see this. Now, if you see the vertical section of maize seed, so once the maize seed you take and cut it, then what you see? You can see the endosperm. You can see this is the endosperm and this is the embryo region. This particular, the lower part is the embryo region. So this aleurone layer, this endosperm is surrounded by the aleurone layer. Now this aleurone layer is present in between the endosperm and the embryo. This is the embryo. This whole portion is called as embryo. Now there is an aleurone layer in between the endosperm and the embryo, right? This particular part is called as the plumule region. So plumule region is confined to this, and you can see there is a covering all over the plumule region that is called as the coleoptile. That is called as the coleoptile. And at the lower part, there is a radicle. There is a radicle which is again also covered by a covering that is called as coleorhiza. That is called as coleorhiza. Now above to this in the embryonal axis, there is one portion that is called as scutellum. So this scutellum is the cotyledon. You have to remember cotyledon of this maize seed. This is present in the monocot type of seeds. Okay, so this you can see in the case of maize seed vertical section. Now question comes here, a new question is here. Take one flower from each of the families Fabaceae and Solanaceae and write its semi-technical description. Also draw their floral diagram. So let us see the answer of it. So this is the Fabaceae. Okay, so they are tree, shrubs, herbs having the roots with the root nodules. Okay, so herbs, shrubs and trees, all the types of plant we can see in the case of Fabaceae family, and they are also having the nodules, very important, in the roots. Stems are erect and climber. Sometimes this stem is very erect in position and it gives rise to tendrils to climb. Okay, so here you can see tendrils. Some of the apical leaf are modified into the tendrils to get the support from the surrounding. They can cling to the support and they can erect stand. Leaves are alternate, pinnately compound or simple, and the leaf base are pulvinate, stipulate and reticulate type of venation. Reticulate because it is the dicot. Okay, so here you can see the flower. This is the standard, this is the wing, and this is the keel, you can say. Now there is a diadelphous condition. 9 androeciums are joined together and one is left side like this. Floral characters of the Fabaceae. Inflorescence is racemose, flower is bisexual and zygomorphic. Okay, calyx, sepals are 5, gamosepalous, valvate and imbricate estivation. If you see in the case of corolla, petals are 5 in number, polypetalous condition, papilionaceous, consisting of the posterior standard 2 lateral wings and 2 anterior ones, forming a keel-like structure. So, and this is showing the maxillary type of estivation. We have also seen this in the earlier question. Androecium, if you see the androecium, then stamen is 10 in number. Diadelphous condition, 9 plus 1 arrangement, 9 in one group and 1 in another group. Anther is dithecous, 2 anther, and in one you can see this 2 theca. So gynoecium, ovary is superior, monocarpellary, unilocular with many ovules, and style is single. If you see the fruit, then fruit should be a legume. Okay, one too many non-endospermic, and the seed is non-endospermic. Okay. Economic importance. What is the economic importance of this particular type of plants? So plants of these families are pulses. They generally, many pulses comes under this family and are used as a fodder and sweet. For example, peas and trifolium. Okay. So if you see the floral diagram, then it is a zygomorphic, bisexual flower. Calyx K, all the calyx are united together. So this 5 It is written in bracket. Corolla. Okay. So two are joined together to form the standard. Then two are wing and one is the key. Okay. And in Rusium, 9 plus 1 arrangement, 9 in one group plus 1. Gynoecium, gynoecium is superior and that is 1 in number. So this is the floral diagram of this. Now, characteristic of the Solanaceae family. Another family, Solanaceae, commonly termed as potato family, because potato is one of the very important plant and it belongs to this family. So commonly we name it as a potato family. Solanaceae are mostly herbs, shrubs, and rarely small trees. Okay, so if you look about the habit of the plant, then they are mostly herbs. They look like herbs. Sometimes some shrubs are also reported into this family, and some trees are also there. Stems are herbaceous, rarely wood, aerial, erect, cylindrical in nature, branched, solid or hollow, hairy or glabrous, underground, and stem is potato. In case of potato, the underground stem is in the form of tuber, that is named as potato. Leaves are alternate in fashion, simple, and rarely pinnately compound. Rarely pinnately compound and exstipulate with the reticulate venation. So here you can see the inflorescence. They are solitary, axillary, or cymose as in solanum. So cymose type of inflorescence you can see, but generally they are solitary. You see the flower. Flower is bisexual. Both the male and female reproductive organs are present in the same flower. Actinomorphic. The flower is showing in the actinomorphic arrangement. So you can divide the flower into two equal halves into the number of planes. They are having the number of planes that can divide the flower into two equal halves. Calyx. Sepals are 5, united, persistent, valvate estimation. If you talk about the corolla, then the petals are 5 in number. They are also united and also showing the valvate estimation. Androecium. Stamens 5 and epipetalous. Here you can see it is joined together. It is joined with the petals. Okay, so it is showing the epipetalous condition. It is joined with the petals and epipetalous. Floral characters of the Solanaceae. Gynoecium. Bicarpellary, obligately placed, syncarpous, ovary superior, bilocular, and placenta is swollen with many ovules and exile presentation. Okay, placenta is swollen with many different ovules, and they are showing the exile presentation. Fruits. If you talk about the fruits, then we are having the berry or capsule, and seeds. If you see the seeds, then many endospermous. Many seeds are produced, and they all are endospermous. Means they are having the endosperm in that. Now, economic importance. If we talk about the economic importance of this flower, then plant belonging to this family are used as a food, spices, medicines, and ornamental. Some plants are ornamental also. So the petunia is the best example of the ornamental plant. Okay, medicinal plant, ashwagandha, brinjal, and chili. These are used. This chili is used as spices, whereas this brinjal is used as a food in the form of vegetables. Floral diagram. So here this represents the actinomorphic bisexual flower. Bisexual flower. K, all are joined together. Okay, 5 in number, and they are all joined together. So they are K5, C5. Corolla are also 5 in number, and they are all joined together, and it is showing the epipetalous condition. Epipetalous condition. The androecium is joined with the petals. So here you can see the epipetalous, 5 in number, and gynoecium is superior and 2 in number. Describe the various types of placentation found in the flowering plants. So what are the different types of placentation? Let us see here. The first one is the various types of placentations are found in the flowering plants are as follows. The first one is the marginal. The placenta forms the ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary. Ovules are born on the ridge of the two rows. So here this is the margin of the ovule through which this ovules are attached. Actually, before this fertilization, the seeds are in the form of ovules. Okay, so these ovules are attached to the margin. So that is why it is called as the marginal placentation, exile placentation. Placenta is exile and ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary. So here you can see one locule. This is one locule. This is second locule, and this is the third locule. And what you see in each locule, these ovules are attached. These ovules are attached. Okay, multilocular, they are attached to it in a multilocular ovary. An example is the lemon. Example is the lemon. Parietal placentation. Parietal placentation. The ovule develops on the inner wall of the ovary or on the peripheral. So ovules are attached on the inner wall of the ovary. It is single chambered. If you see whole ovule, this is single chambered. But due to the formation of false septum, it becomes two chambered. Okay, no false septum is if it is present in the two due to the false septum, sometime it divide into the two locules. Okay, and it become two chambered. So that you see in the case of mustard. Parietal placentation. Next is the basal one. The placenta develops at the base of the ovary. So this is the base of the ovary, and the placenta develops here, and it get attached. The ovule get attached to the base of the ovary, and that is showing the basal placentation. That is we see in the case of marigold, right? So this is about this question. So let us move to the next question. Okay, this is again one last one is the free central. The ovules are born on the central axis and the septa are absent. Okay, no septa you can see here. It is the central axis through which the ovules are attached, like this. The ovules are attached. This we see in the case of primrose. Next flower. Next question is, what is a flower? Describe the parts of a typical angiosperm flower. So we have to describe the different parts that angiospermic flower is bearing. So let us see the answer. The reproductive part of an angiosperm is called the flower. Okay, so the flower, what is the meaning of the flower? The reproductive organs are present in the flower. So the reproductive part of an angiosperm is flower, and it is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes into floral meristem. Okay, the shoot apical meristem, it changes to the floral meristem, and the typical flower has 4 different kinds of whorls that are organized successively on the swollen end of the pedicel or a stalk, known as receptacle or the thalamus. So what you see, this is the thalamus. Okay, the sepals are there, the petals are there, then the male part androecium and the female part gynoecium, right? This is we see in the case of flower 4 different whorls, and all these whorls are arranged on this thalamus. This is the thalamus or receptacle, right? And the thing is that These four whorls, these are the modification of the shoot apical meristem, and it changes when it forms the flower when it changes to the floral meristem. These four parts are classified under the accessory organ and the reproductive organ. When the calyx and corolla are not distinct, they are called as perianth. So this calyx and corolla, these are the accessory organ. They are not working as a reproductive organ. They are the accessory organ. Whereas this androecium and gynoecium, these are the reproductive organ, male and female organ respectively. Sometimes what happened, the calyx and corolla are not distinct. They join together and forming a structure that is called as perianth. The accessory organ are calyx and corolla. The reproductive organs are androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so here you can see the different parts of the flower. Okay, the calyx, it is the lowermost and the outermost whorl of the flower, and they are called as sepals. They render support and protection to the other floral structure. So when the floral flower is in the form of bud, it is enclosing all the inner structure in a bud. So that is the providing the protection to it. Now, if you see the corolla, then corolla is composed of petals which are brightly colored to attract the insects for the pollination. Located inner to the sepals and outside the stamen. Okay, so corolla is composed of petals which are brightly colored. Now they can attract the insects, okay, for the process of pollination. So these are located inner to the sepals and outside to the stamen. This is the position of the this corolla. Androecium. Next is the androecium. Androecium consists of a stamen which represent male reproductive organ of a stalk, filament, and the anther. So androecium consists of the stamen. So if you see the androecium, many androeciums or many stamens. Okay. So this is the one of the stamen showing that is the filament. This is the anthers are bilobed, where each lobe has two chambers. And so if you cut this, okay, so this is one lobe. This is showing one lobe, and each lobe is showing two chambers. So total 4 chambers are there. These chambers are what? These chambers are the pollen sac. Pollen sac, where the pollen grains are produced. The stamen may be united with other members, namely petals, or amongst themselves. Sometimes all the stamens are united together. Sometimes they are forming a group-like structure, as you have seen in the case of a pea plant, diadelphous condition. 9 stamens are arranged in one group, and in the another, only one single stamen is there, right? So such type of arrangement or some types of different things we see in the case of androecium. Sometimes they are attached to the petals. Okay, epipetalous condition. Next is the gynoecium. The gynoecium is the female reproductive part of flower, which is made up of one or more carpels. Sometimes one carpel, sometimes many carpels united together, which in turn is composed of 3 parts. Each carpel you have seen in the 3 parts: stigma, ovary, and style. The ovary is found at the base, enlarged, bearing the style, which it is an elongated tube. So here you can see the stigma part. This is the elongated tube-like structure. Lower it goes and forming a basal bulbous part that is called as ovary. This is ovary. This is style. This is the stigma. So this is stigma receives the pollen grain. The coming pollen grain, it is received by this. Okay. So the ovary is connected to the stigma through the style. So this is the interconnection between the stigma and ovary, that is through the style, and the tip which bear the stigma where the pollen grains are received. So each of the ovaries bear one or more ovule attached to the placenta. So inside the ovary, there may be placenta. It can be one placenta or more than that. So here you can see the flower. Okay, so this is the receptacle part. This is the receptacle part. This is the stalk. above the receptacle, now here you can see it that this is the one of the pistil or carpel. Inside it, you can see the ovule. This is the ovary region, ovary, style, and stigma that is forming the pistil or the carpel. Now here you can see one of the stamen. It is having the filament and anther, right? Forming the stamen. So there are so many anthers that unitedly called as endorusium. And here you can see the this petals and sepals as well, right? Okay. Next question is here. Define the term inflorescence. Explain the basis for the different types of inflorescence in the flowering plant. Okay, what are the different bases for the different types of inflorescence in the flowering plant? So inflorescence is the arrangement of flower on the floral axis. Okay, how the flower are arranged on the floral axis, that is showing the inflorescence, and that is the group of flowers. Okay, group of flowers that is arranged on the floral axis, that is forming the inflorescence. So there are two major type of inflorescence depending upon whether the apex is converted into flower or continues to grow. Okay, so let us see one by one what are these two different types of inflorescence. The first one is the racemose, a type of inflorescence in which the flowers are born laterally in an acropetal succession. That is the newer flower at near the apex. So these are the new flower. Okay, new flower, and these are the older one. Okay, so new flowers at near the apex while the older one at the base. So this is showing the acropetal succession. Acropetal succession. And the main axis continues to grow. So here it does not terminate. It gives rise to one new flower like this, again like this, and it is continuously growing. This axis is continuously growing. Cymose type, a type of inflorescence in which the main axis terminates. So here you can see it terminates into the flower and it gives rise lateral flower, and again it will give rise to lateral flower. So the flower are born in the basipetal order, where the younger flower near the base and the older flower at the apex. So this is showing the basipetal arrangement. In the case of racemose, you see the acropetal, whereas in the case of cymose, you see the basipetal arrangement of the flowers. Okay, next question comes here. Describe the arrangement of floral members in relation to their insertion on the thalamus. How the floral members means calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium, how they are inserted on the thalamus. Very, very important question. So the arrangement of the floral members in relation to the insertion on the thalamus of the three different types. The first one is the hypogynous flower. Okay, the one in which the gynoecium occupies the highest position. So here you can see it is present at the highest position, and the other floral parts are present below to it, right? While the other parts are situated below it. The ovary is said to be superior, and such type of ovary is said to be a superior one. The best example is the brinjal. Brinjal is showing the hypogynous flower. Okay. Next is the perigynous. Perigynous flower are the one in which the gynoecium stays in the center and the other parts of the flowers are located on the rim of the thalamus. So here you can see this thalamus is rising above, and this ovary, this part is attached to the thalamus below it, right? And the other floral parts are rising above to it, almost the same level. The ovary is said to be half inferior. Okay, half inferior. Now what you see here, very different thing. epigynous flower, the one in which the margins of the thalamus grow upward. The margin of the flower is going upward like this. Okay, enfolding the ovary. What is encapsulating, or you can say the enfolding the ovary, and here the ovary get fused with the thalamus. The ovary, this is the ovary, and it is get fused with the thalamus, and the other parts of the flower arises above the ovary. So hence the ovary is said to be inferior, and that you see in the case of guava. Okay, so this is all about this session. Thank you very much for attending this session.